Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. If you're a new player to Hearthstone or if you're a returning player, you get a free deck when you play Hearthstone. If you're a returning player, you must not have logged into the game for 120 days. And if you're a new player, you need to play through the apprentice ranks or skip them, but that's not recommended because there's lots of rewards during apprentice ranks. But once you get through the apprentice ranks into the main ladder, hit bronze, you get a free deck. Last year these free decks were actually pretty decent, some of them were even playable all the way to Legend straight out of the box, but this year Blizzard changed their design direction with the free decks a little bit, with Forged in the Barrens, and decided to make them hot garbage. So that's pretty much what they still are. They are hot garbage. They are pretty much unplayable out of the box. However, some of them do include a lot of good parts. So when you're choosing your free deck, you can't really choose based on the performance, because the performance will be abysmal, but you choose based on what kind of class do you want to play, what kind of deck do you want to build, and you scavenge them for parts. The free deck for Demon Hunter is a Death Rattle Demon Hunter. Death Rattle Demon Hunter is maybe a tier 2 archetype right now, and this deck does include some of the best cards for that archetype, like Deathspeaker Blackthorn and Fellsteel Executioner. Some builds also run Curse Asphorn, so that's not a useless card either, so it is actually a pretty decent deck. The exact combination of cards used in the deck is bad, you really need to tweak this, but relatively cheaply you could build this into somewhat playable deck. The Druid deck is a weird style of aggro Druid with Gafrune Totem, Plague Marauding Greybow. It's pretty much hot garbage. I probably wouldn't pick this even if I wanted to play Druid. You don't even get Glowfly Swarms or anything. The Hunter deck is a very exotic take on some kind of Beast Hunter, but it does include lots of cards that are used in Face Hunter, which is an actually good deck, like Warsong Wranglers and Golkar Backrunners. And through a Crescent, Trampling Rhinos, you can build this into a Face Hunter deck relatively easily. You will still miss Barak Kodobane, a legendary card that's used in the archetype, and Ringling's Rifle, another legendary card that's used in the archetype. Tavish and Sixsword don't make the cut, but you get a couple of the epic cards, and Face Hunter even budget is very strong right now, so if you like Face Hunter, you like to play Hunter, this is a fine choice. The Mage deck is total junk. It is built on the idea of Hero Power Mage, which has never worked. It's a totally useless concept. The only upside of the deck is Chendi Sparrow, which is sort of usable in Rogue, so if you want to play Mage, don't pick this deck. It doesn't give you any of the cards that you actually play when you play Mage. And if you want to play Rogue, don't pick this deck for Chendi Sparrow, because you also get that card in the Rogue deck. The Paladin deck is a Libram Paladin, and Libram Paladin is kind of semi-playable, even though most Paladin decks right now are Handbuff Paladins. Libram's Handbuffs go a little bit weakly together, and Handbuff is just stronger, so it's not a great pick. It does give you a Carrier Roam, which is used in practically all Paladin decks right now, so there might be a little bit of merit to picking it, but not much. The Priest deck is total junk by all standards. The only playable card in the Priest deck is Blademaster Samuro, which is not even played in the current Priest decks, so if you like Priest, don't pick this deck. The Rogue deck has some good individual pieces. There's Secret Passage in the deck, an excellent epic card. There's Chendi Sparrow, Tenwolf Red Smoke, somewhat playable legendaries. Cap Scudderbutter sees some play in Quest Rogue right now. So while it is not a playable deck as such, and it will take some more work to get it into a playable state, it does give you some valuable Rogue cards for a couple of different Rogue archetypes. None of them are absolutely top tier at the moment, but if you really like to play Rogue, then this gives you a good basic collection to start from. The Shaman deck has to be the overall strongest pick out of all these decks. It is obviously a terrible deck as such. It is not a playable deck in its current state, but you get Instructor Fireheart, and you get 2 copies of Lilybad Lurker. And those are all the legendary and epic cards that you need to make a full meta Elemental Shaman deck, which is a top tier deck. You get all the expensive pieces, you only need some commons and rares to fill it up, and you're ready to rock on all the way to Legend, all the way to top 500 Legend, top 200 Legend, whatever you want. So if you enjoy the Elemental Shaman gameplay, then yeah, this deck is a very good option. The Warlock deck gives you some of the most played Warlock cards at the moment. There's Flesh Giants in here, there's Darklairs here, there's Tamsin Rome here, but the key piece that you're kind of missing is the Warlock quest. All the Warlock decks are built around that quest, and you get a bunch of supporting pieces, but without the quest you can't really make this work. But if you happen to have the Warlock quest or you're planning to craft the Warlock quest, then these can help you build together the full quest Warlock deck. Warrior is actually a fairly nice looking Rush Warrior deck. There are some really weird card choices here that limit its performance, but out of the box this is actually the best performing list out of these lists. So you get Blade Mr. Samuro, you get Rokara, you get some Tent Treasures. You're pretty much just missing the legendary card that draws you dragons. So if you like to play Warrior, if you like to play Rush Warrior, you can get a lot of good pieces from this deck. And Rush Warrior itself is right now something like a tier 2 archetype, so it's perfectly playable. So, none of the decks are really playable. Like with the Warrior deck you might hit gold maybe, perhaps, but you're not going to get very far with even that one. Shaman, by far the strongest choice, because it's so easy to upgrade that to a full elemental Shaman, and that's a tier 1 deck, very cheap, very strong, and also very easy to play. The Hunter deck isn't bad either. I mean, the deck is absolutely abysmal, but you get some parts that you can put into your budget Face Hunter deck and make it a little bit better, and then even fully upgrade it if you get like Barracuda Bane Ringling's Rifle from somewhere. So Hunter is another strong choice. And then some of the other decks, Demon Hunter, Rogue, Warlock, Warrior, they give you a bunch of good cards if you like to play those classes. Whereas then there are some decks like Priest, and even if you want to play Priest, there's no real reason to pick that deck. So sadly, the decks are far from equal. If you pick the wrong one, that's going to be totally useless. Whereas if you pick the right one, you might get the easy tier 1 deck, you might get semi-easy tier 2 deck that you actually enjoy playing, so there are lots of upsides to making the correct choice, and these are the classes that can form playable decks out of the PCs. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.